Thank you for coming on Kitchen Speakers. Today we have Zach. Is it Cummins or Cummins, man?
Cummins.
Cummins.
Cummins with
Zach
the
Cummins.
diesel engine.
All right. So Zach is a real estate agent. He actually was my real estate agent, and now I consider him a friend. And then it's nice to have him on.
Yeah,
So
buddy.
tell me about what you do.
What I do. Oh man, that's a loaded question. Well, the main thing of what I like to think I do is I help people with their current situation, finding out exactly where people are in their life and in their goals, whatever that may pertain to, and if real estate has any effect on that in a positive direction for them, whether or not it's selling a house, buying a house, potentially buying an investment property, managing those things. We all have goals, and I view real estate as a tool overall to further your goals. And so it's really just finding out everyone's different situations, because there's so many different situations out there that we're all that we all come from, and I think that's just the beauty of finding that. And then the beauty of it is, where can you go from here, and how can you excel that in your plan?
What do you know about the culinary industry? What do you know about chefs and cooks and what we go through and everything, the day to day?
Man, I would say my knowledge is very minimal on that. I'll be honest.
Respect.
A lot of, if anything, my knowledge comes from actually what my wife talks about, because she's a family nurse practitioner. She's on the holistic side of medicine, and with the holistic side can intertwine into forms of supplements, and those supplements, where do they come from? But part of obviously what we consume on a daily basis. I have learned so much from her. Doesn't mean that we cook any better than we did before, but I think just to be able to have the knowledge, someone like you have, that's amazing, and we can always learn from that.
For sure, for sure. So, you eat healthy is what you say. What you're saying?
We try, but we still conform to some of the dailies. Our fallback, I'll be honest, is chicken nuggets with the kids, man.
Oh, hey, trust me. I know. I have kids, and sometimes you fall back. So, but with that, cooking healthy is and making it taste good is a gift in its own right. Because you have to pull back on the salt. What seasonings do you use? Then maybe where you explore more seasonings and putting spices in things you wouldn't normally, and try to spice it up a little bit, and maybe instead of butter using coconut oil, if you will, or something like that, which is also, coconut oil is very delicious. So yeah, I've had to do some things for some health magazines, and learning some of the things that they cook with, to stay healthy, was actually very, very informative for me.
For sure.
But my crutch, and most chefs' crutch, is butter. So butter and cream, if you're French, So
Yeah, right?
so let's scale back here. So with lower income and fair to no credit is, I don't know, I don't want to group all cooks, all chefs in a certain area, but I mean, if you were to go look for a job right now as a cook, you're probably going to get paid anywhere from $15 to $20, right? So
Yeah.
if you're getting paid between $15 and $20, and hopefully you have, I imagine, what would it be better to have no credit, or a lower credit, or mid to fair? Obviously would be better than lower, but say you have, this is long-winded, I'm trying to get this out here. If you have no credit and you're making $15 to $20 an hour, what would this, I know you're a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And this may sound more of a lender question, but where would you guide someone coming to you and asking you that question?
As far as what they can do to qualify to eventually purchase a home,
Mm-hmm.
I think it comes down to it obviously comes down to your lifestyle and the way that you spend money.
Mm-hmm.
Money is also a tool, and not to get too deep into your personal area as well, but there were things that we found out very early on. What was it, last January, when we were starting to look and found out, okay, here's areas where we can improve, but then also where's your money going on a daily basis?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's really important. If you're earning money, for any entry level job, or then in like a chef position, you're saying entry level is 15 to 20 an hour. Wherever your money is going that you're earning, that's going to determine more about what your future is going to hold than if that money is being dealt with differently.
Mm.
So it comes down to the B word, and that's budgeting.
Mm.
The budgeting is in essence of where you can have your money eventually work for you, or where you work for your money.
Mm.
And that comes down to, essentially hourly wage versus self-employed versus becoming a business owner versus becoming an investor. So the different quadrants of that allow you the different ways in which to have your money, instead of stop working for it, start working for you. You can. It is possible, but it's very uncomfortable, but very possible to start to flip that script. And you're a perfect example of that, man. I mean, not saying that you weren't having money going in the right direction, but there was one significant key towards the end that you guys changed, because you're like, I'm bullish on this. I'm going to make it happen. I'm changing my family tree, and we're doing this. And you did that. And those things blossomed into, hey, now we found this house.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate. Are you referring to where I sold my truck to
Yep.
up my purchasing power? Is that what you're referring to?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, cool.
Because, and just from a financial perspective, when it comes to lending, anybody who's working the 9-to-5 job and getting the W-2, you can still buy a house. Yes, of course, in the Southern California market, it's going to be extremely difficult, and you'd have to build up a lot over time. But the same ways that you took what a lease payment was on a vehicle, and you said, buy vehicle because you're temporary, and you took that vehicle back. I believe it was same day that we talked about it. It was same day. And then I remember you calling me and you Ubered home. I'm like, I still get goosebumps about it. I tell that story more oftentimes than not. Obviously, I take your name out of it, but I tell that story because that's flipping the switch of where you feel comfortable in lifestyle to where you feel uncomfortable, but then you can end up purchasing something that you want. And people, I hope people hear that and hope they take note on that.
Word, man. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So, where is the housing market right now? What does it look like for someone purchasing a home?
Another loaded question. I love it.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay specific to Southern California because it's too difficult to spread off nationwide. We have a beautiful area that we live in here. You know, the palm trees, the breeze, the ocean. We have all those beautiful aspects. You also have a major economy that is dealt with in Southern California. You obviously have military presence. You have biopharmaceutical companies. You have other large companies that employ personnel at a high income rate that drives this market. And with that, what we're seeing right now is, with interest rates relatively still low, it makes your financing power be able to finance more of a home than what we normally would be. And because that's there, you have this opportunity where, hey, if I can finance this now and make that work, then hey, sky's the limit there. But as soon as things fluctuate and we start to see interest rates come up a little bit, it's going to shorten that gap of what people can actually finance. And why I say Southern California, I don't really see us having the correction of prices that, we're going up right now, and we're still going up. The inventory, the homes, we dealt with this. How many homes are on the market that we can look at? As soon as one pops up, there's 40 people flooding that home the next day.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild.
And so, for buyers, hey, you got to be patient out there. I know everyone's trying to give it their all, and people have timelines. If you're renting and your lease is coming up, sound familiar? Mm-hmm. And you got to get into a new place. There's that timeline. If people are trying to sell their house because they want to upgrade to a new home, they have that timeline as well. So it's a difficult market, honestly, to be in on either side. As sellers, I have some friends that are sellers and they just sold their place, but it wasn't the easiest of process. They still had 8 offers on the home and they had to say no to 7 people, and that didn't sit well with them too. Yeah. So overall, I think the market's still going to steadily increase. But I would still encourage people to, what I say for buyers is, give yourself some grace, give yourself some mercy, and be patient. Because you don't want to just throw it all at the first one and go after it. You still want to be able to see some more inventory over time, hopefully.
That's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
So I'm gonna switch gears here.
Yeah, man.
Let's get into some culinary related questions. Kitchens, restaurants. Obviously, you're not a chef, so but I could still ask a lot of these questions.
Yeah.
So I ask every chef or cook that I have on the podcast so far has answered some of these. So, what is your go-to cookbook or resource? It could be internet, could be an actual physical hard copy. What do you refer to when you're looking for recipes or direction?
Honestly, my easiest go-to is actually a crock pot scenario. Okay. Growing up, my dad always, whatever our meal was at night, if we didn't finish it, for whatever reason, we got on this roll of, we would mix it up the next morning with eggs. You just mash it up and it makes it still so good. And it was like, I was surprised at how many meals actually taste pretty good with eggs the next morning. Yeah.
Like some beef, right?
Yeah.
Fry up an egg or whatnot, and you got breakfast, man. So yeah.
I did that with we had some seafood entree from a restaurant the other day. And the next morning I put the eggs in with that, cooked it all up in the pan. I was like, oh, this is good. But my go-to is probably, other than like a chicken fried rice scenario or some sort of a Mexican dish, then the go-to after that would be a crock pot.
Nice, man. What restaurants do you frequent? Pre-COVID, during, safety, obviously, but which ones do you frequent with just you and your wife on a date night?
On a date night, well, to be honest, on a date night, we kind of go for it. We're willing, because we don't get very many date nights. When we do, it's like we did Pacific Coast Grill down in Del Mar area, and that was pretty phenomenal. And that was more than what we normally would spend. So we did that. And anything, we generally go after Mexican restaurants. we like some of the local ones here in Carlsbad or anywhere in North County. We really get attracted to those. And then otherwise something seafood related. We try to pick restaurants that we know it's not something that we would normally cook at home. Because the cooking at home can be almost mundane to like, you know, have the same thing over and over potentially. So we try to really branch out in our taste buds and go for something different.
I heard that, man. Yeah. So, I mean, being a chef myself, most people think that I'm eating like super gourmet meals every night. And, you know, I'm big on the crock pot type. I usually just like braise it in the oven or something like that, or slow cook it on the stove, but, and just watch it throughout the day. But, you know, quicker meals are typically my go-to, you know, chicken or rice real quick, you know? Yeah. So, I mean, I understand that completely. In Carlsbad, Ember and Rye, Richard Blaze is opening a restaurant, man. You should hit that place up, or maybe, you know, when, maybe post-COVID, or, you know, we'll work it out. When I don't know, I'm getting vaccinated. My wife is already, and maybe we can meet up and have a couple's date there, man. So
heck yeah,
man.
I'm totally open to any of your suggestions, because obviously that's key.
I'm watching the stuff that chefs posting, and it's my type of eating. So it looks delicious. You know, I worked at Juniper and Ivy, and the food's delicious there, and that's a Blaze restaurant, you know. So I know it's probably going to be absolutely fire.
Heck yeah.
So this part of the segment I call a sneakerhead. You know what a sneakerhead is?
I actually don't.
So a sneakerhead is a basketball reference to someone who loves basketball shoes, that collect them, if you will. So what I'm asking chefs and other people that I have on the podcast is, what are you wearing right now?
I'll pull these ones off and show you. These are actually, I'm proud of these ones. This is actually very consistent in my daily life. Vivo Barefoot.
Nice.
So this is a little different type of sneaker for you.
Wow, look at that grip. Look at that stretch. That's crazy. Oh, that's dope.
Yeah,
nice.
these are awesome. Check these out. Yeah, Africa. Vivo Barefoot. Gosh, I got turned on to these a couple of years ago. I had a buddy I was working out with that showed me these, and he had a little discount code for them. So I jumped on them because they are not cheap. And when it comes to outfits, I'm cheap. I said Target here first, you know, I'm cheap. But I looked up this company, Vivo Barefoot, and I love what they represent. So after I wait till after I sell a home or you know, help buyers buy a home, and then that's when I decide to splurge and I'll buy something. So I actually bought 2 of their shoes, but I went through their discount website, which was Revivo. But they're awesome, man. They're very minimalist shoes, super thin on the sole, so you really feel everything when you're walking. And that's the thing. There's so many nerves in your foot that I learned from. I mean, if you can see the imprint, it looks like
that's crazy, man.
Remember the old toe shoes?
Yeah.
And they have the straps, and then you look funky, you know. But these are basically that, but in a regular shoe. So.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah. So thank you for sharing, man. Yeah. Shoe game is important. So
right. Hey.
So I like to call this boiled over.
Okay.
And you're a pretty graceful, happy guy, man. And everyone's has that something that makes them lose their lid, though. Just give me one example. Keep it PG, you know, of a time that you've lost your lid. You know, you boiled over.
That's a good one. I'll get personal here then. I will say, so in high school, I used to, if my buddies would mess with me, and we'd typically be like at a basketball game, and we'd be in the cheering section. And, you know, if I had my keys to my car in my pocket, and then you had those long lanyards that we used to have back then, you could wear them around your neck or whatever. well, they would take that from me and hide it with someone else in the stands and then eventually give it back or whatever. But I would get so worked up. And so anytime I get worked up, you know, if anyone said, stop being a baby, and that would just be like, oh no, then you cross the line. And now I'm saying this, and I try to have a better attitude about it now, because every once in a while, like I'll be butting heads with my boys, you know, and I think about like someone saying that, and it, you know, that can start the fire.
And do you find yourself wanting to say that too? And you're like, wait, like I should.
Well, I'll want to say it maybe about one of them.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Hey, you're 4. Stop being a baby.
Stop being a baby. You know?
But then I realized I'm not going to say that because I wouldn't want someone to say that to me. But yeah, I mean, my biggest fire in me now is ultimately when I'm working with another agent in, you know, in negotiations or whatnot, and when I'm fighting for someone else on the negotiation side, man, I'll go to all ends. I'll make it happen, and I'll find a way to make something work. You know, and so it's just that fire driving me, that competitive spirit that I had as a kid. But now I can apply it to work.
Work, man. Yeah, that's important. That's good. It's good to have that fire, that passion for what.
I love what you do.
Yeah. So how I like to end these off is tell me, what is one thing that you want everyone to know about you?
What's one thing that I want everyone to know about me? I would say I am very passionate about those that are in my circle. I want to make sure that they know I'm in their corner as well. I want to provide that value to those around me that I can. And likewise, it's kind of like the system of community or system of a tribe or community. It's knowing that you're all in it together. And I love that connectiveness and that tribal aspect or that team effort. So just know that if I tell you I'm in your corner, like that's my word is solid. And I want people to know that and it be reciprocated.
Word, man. Well, thank you, Zach. Where can people find you?
People can find me easily on Instagram at Zach Real Estate, ZACH spelled Zach. So at Zach Real Estate. I'm there. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook. I am on the TikTok, and and any of those social media platforms. Or let me know.
Well, thank you for coming on Kitchen Speakers. My name is Mikhail Anthony. Give it a like, give it a subscribe. Peace.